Don't we all want to be happy as possible? But often we tend to have a pity party instead, feeling super sorry for ourselves. Today's yoga class will be about finding happiness, maybe learning how to live a more happy life, like in everyday life, but also in faith. You can take a seat on your mat. If you need any equipment like blocks and straps, you might want to bring it. Blanket if you feel you're getting cold. Find a comfortable seat on the mat or on a block and close your eyes if it makes sense to you. Soften everything, and you might even shake things off a little bit and move if you feel like that's serving your body and your mind. Breathe and maybe sigh out. You might have chosen this video because there are specific things that you are not happy about. And you can put into words, or into body, so to say, what it is that takes your happiness and sigh it out. I believe that God knows everything that's going on in our hearts, our minds. So He also knows what's taking your happiness away. But maybe you don't know it exactly. Often what takes our happiness away is things that we can't control, or things we can't even do anything about. So before we start moving, identify if the things that you're somewhat unhappy or frustrated about is anything that you really can't do anything about. You have to surrender that into God's loving hands. And then you can put your hands in front of you in prayer pose. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed. Bring your arms up overhead, palms still together. And then let your right hand drop down on the floor and then lean towards the right side with your whole body. Lifting up, inhale. Moving to the other side, exhale. Coming back to center, palms together on top of your head. Maybe inhale as you do that, and then exhale as you bring your hands down. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale, reach the arms up. Go to either side you prefer, exhale. Inhale, sitting tall. Exhale, other side. Inhale, coming up. Deep, slow breath. Exhale, bring your hands down. One last time. Learning to be more happy. It's also a matter of breathing deeply and calming the nervous system. If the nervous system is anxious or worried, we tend to tighten up, breathe more in the top of our lungs, instead of finding the calmness that I believe God created kind of a button we have with our breath that can calm us to some extent. Deep breath calming the nervous system. And then find your way into tabletop. Maybe put extra padding under your knees if you like. Cat-cows. You're welcome to be creative here. So do move with your elbows. Maybe you do cat-cow with some circles with your spine as well. And I'll invite you to do a little bit of wrist work as well. We are going to get into some arm balancing postures throughout this class. If you don't feel like it, of course, you don't have to. Take your hands further to the front. Lift up in your downward facing dog. Move your legs, bending one knee at a time. To gain more happiness, I think we need to identify what takes our happiness away. Because if we just focus on the unhappy things, the things that takes our happiness away, it's hard to make space for what actually brings happiness. Walk your feet to the top of the mat. Fold forward, relax your neck, maybe shake your head. Then bend your knees, find chair pose, just a small warming up sequence here. Bring your arms to the front, chair pose. Then lift up, bring your arms out to a cross shape or T shape aligned with the shoulders. Lift your right knee up. Let your arms stay wide, far apart as you lean forward, bringing the right foot to some extent of the back of the mat, high lunge, bending front knee over ankle. Twisting to your left side, so going to the direction of the front knee that's bended. Opposite way, warrior two, so bring your arms around, turn the back foot, and bend the front knee again. Then windmill the arms around, back heel off, starting forward or starting at the top. Forward fold. Chair pose. And you choose if you're advanced, doing this because you want to also move a lot, go deeper, breathe deeper, or do a little bit easier. Arms out to the side, left leg comes up. Breathe. Keep breathing as you bring the left foot back. High lunge. Moving to the twist, into twist towards your right side, opening up so the shoulders are far away from each other in front of your chest. Pivot around, warrior two. Gaze towards the front hand and push the pelvis a little bit in underneath yourself, making sure you're not leaning either forward or back. And then windmill the arms around, starting forward, just repeating once on each side here with the breath. And again, if it doesn't work with the breath, don't let that take your happiness away. Chair pose, inhale. Stay in your chair pose, exhale. The T cross shape, inhale, right knee up. Exhale, bring the foot back, lean forward, toes pointing. Inhale, high lunge. Stay, exhale. Going for the twist, inhale. Maybe going a little bit deeper, exhale. Warrior two, inhale, turn the back foot. You might extend the front leg as you move around. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale to the front. Exhaling, forward fold. Chair pose, inhale. Exhale, sitting lower maybe. Cross shape, inhale, left knee up. Exhale, bring the foot back. Inhale, high lunge. Stay going deeper, maybe exhale. Twisting to your right side, inhale. Deepening, exhale. Warrior 2, inhale. Exhale. This time, down dog, inhale. Windmill the arms around, find your plank. On toes and knees, exhale, lower down. Maybe just your chest hovering over the floor. Inhale, lift up in your cobra or your up dog. Exhale, down dog. Slowing things down with a lot of strength. Take 2 deep breaths here. Lifting the tailbone up and back. Feeling it on the hamstrings, the back of the thigh. Move into your plank. And stay in your plank. Use your knees if you like. Use your elbows if you like. Navel in and try to stay with a straight line. So your gaze is maybe in front of your fingers on the floor. 2 more breaths. Keep pushing the finger pads down. And down dog. Bring the right leg up. Going for that hip opener. So bend the knee, open the hip, so you bring the knee, right knee up towards the sky. Square your shoulders off so they're standing like you were in down dog. As we stay here, we'll move the shin, the knee with our breath. The rest stays put. Inhale, point the foot. Exhale, bend the knee again. 3 more times. Inhale, extend the leg. And bend, exhale. 1 more time, inhale. Bending, exhale. Closing the hip, so bring the right knee maybe at the middle of the mat. Welcome to fold the mat for the sake of the knee. I actually really love that. Release tension from your wrist. Bring the left foot out to the side. You stay on your mat. I'm just going to turn so you better can see. Your left foot out to the side, going up here, knee over ankle or knee over hip. Your right hand moves up and then go for a side bend towards the leg that's out to the side. Gate lash pose. One more breath. Turning the other way around. So your right hand comes down, so your whole body is in one straight line. Probably aligned with the short end of the mat in your case. You can stay put or lift the back leg off if you feel like it, if you want to get some strength and make a straight line. If you don't feel like do more a banana shape. Lift the leg quite high. And then find your way around. Downward facing dog, mainly just to shake things off. And then step your feet to the top of the mat, fold forward. Shake your wrists. Chair pose. Let your hip move back. So I'm doing this, maybe some odd postures, maybe some advanced postures, also to get our minds a little bit off this pity party we might have going on. I actually want you to be a little bit distracted by the body, by the movements, by the breath, because sometimes that's what we need to get out of this pit that we have fallen into of a bad mood. So focus on your breath, focus on your body. Feel your legs shaking by now if you're in a deep chair. And then rise up. Bring your hands behind you. Either hold on the arms there or grasp the hands and lean back, opening up your chest. One more breath. And then soften, fold forward. You can bend your knees as you drop down here, and then you can always extend the legs if you feel like it. Downward facing dog. Step your feet back. Soon getting into some arm balancing crane crawl pose. Lift the left leg up, bend the knee, going for this posture on the other side. So first the hip opener. Lift the knee up if you really want to find the glutes. As we did before, you're welcome to extend the leg, stretch out the leg as you inhale. And exhale, bend the knee. Draw the heel towards the bottom. 2 more times. And when you're done, bring the left knee in the middle of the mat. Again, option of folding the knee, the mat. And bring your right leg out to the side for that gate lash pose. Again, you might want to stay put. I am just turning for the sake of the camera. I see a lot of people going to the degree of standing over here, but I really want you to focus on this straight line to begin with here. And then lean over. So from my waist here, there's a straight line, but I'm stretching the side of my ribs. Maybe let your face move up towards the sky like that. Deep breaths. Engage the pelvic floor as you tilt the other way. Again, you might be on the short end of the mat. Your left hand comes down. Either do this C-shaped banana shape or lift the left. So the right leg up, the back leg there. And this arm might want to go that for somewhat a straight line. Breathe. Keep lifting the leg. As we breathe in these difficult postures, we learn that we can breathe. We can find also glimpse of happiness in things that are hard when we're struggling, like we're now, maybe. Release, let go. And you bring your hands to the top of the mat. Probably they are there already. Downward facing dog. Walk your feet to the top of the mat. Shake your wrist. Fold forward here. Now there's an invitation to do a little bit of different things. You can do chair pose as we did before. If you don't want to do any arm balances. If you feel like you want to try something different, you can also come into a yoga squat. Some knees are not really fond of that, so you might not gonna go into it, but make your way if you can. Toes are pointing out, knees are in the same direction. Elbows can kind of pull the knees apart so it feels stretched on the inside of the thigh. From here, if you want crane crawl pose, you can bring your hands down on the floor, shoulder width distance, all right? I'm gonna turn. And then bend your knees, lift the heels off, and then maybe take a look before you get into it if it's a new thing. If you know it, just go ahead. My nose, I'm gazing forward. So if you want a blanket or something, if you're afraid of falling, you can have something here in front of you. I'm leaning and bending my elbows, making sure the pointy part is pointing back, putting either my kneecap or the inside of the knee joint on my tricep. Leaning forward, maybe lifting the feet off and staying here. And if you feel it in your wrist, you might come out of it, trying it again. So different variations here. Keep breathing, whatever you do. And then come out of it again. Shake your wrists. Child's pose. So come down on your knees, get some distance in between the knees. Forehead on the mat. Sigh out. Faith, Christian faith, does not tell us to, or does not have the purpose of just making us happy. I'm sorry to say that, but the main purpose of the Bible and the Christian story and faith is not to make you and me the happiest person on earth. But of course, it's not the opposite either, to make us the most miserable person. It's about finding joy in things, even though we might be struggling. Downward facing dog, one more time. Right leg up and back. That's just to get the right leg to the front. Turn the back foot around, warrior two. So get down here, going deep if you feel like it. Kind of stay here for a few breaths. Soften your elbows, your shoulders. Feel the feet really grounding down. The next posture is half moon, and maybe you want to have a block for the front hand. A solid block is the best. If you want that, bring that. I'll guide you into half moon and then giving you the option of doing a binding as well. So if you really love kind of getting into it as is intermediate, you might want to try this. Take the back leg off, toe still pointing out, and see if you can find your balance here. This is not the binding, but just want to try this. If you then want the binding, you need to get your hands down, at least that's most likely. And then you're going to bend the leg that's lifted and see if your fingers can reach the toes. Don't overdo this, okay? The thigh is moving back like it would in your half moon pose. Keep breathing, opening up the hip, shaking. Release the foot, slowly descend. If you feel like going the opposite way, getting the hand off, seeing how slow you can lower down into warrior two, do that. Releasing tension in the front leg as you lean back, stretching the front leg, peaceful warrior. And then lift up, wide leg, so turn the front toes, folding forward. Maybe holding your legs or whatever you like. Lifting up, downward facing dog. So you just make your way around where you normally would be in your down dog. Same thing on the other side. Your left leg moves up, move it to the front. Turn the back foot, warrior two. So heel arch alignment with the front foot or with the feet, and then lower down to the extent you feel you want to go to today. What I believe faith asks us to, or Christian faith asks us to, is not to pursue happiness and go for that as the goal in life, but to go where God is calling us. And that might be difficult places, hard places, but with the peace and the happiness of Christ in our hearts and our minds. Half moon. So again, if you want to try to balance into it, I need to shorten my distance a little bit if I'm gonna kind of go for this one. So leaning forward, your right leg is elevated, toe still pointing out, trying to balance both hands off if you feel like it. Remember your block if you want to. Avoid crossing the legs if you tend to do that. Welcome to bring the fingers down if you feel like it. Binding or staying hovering if you really enjoyed that. Gaze on the floor if you do the binding and you're not used to it because it's challenging your balance. 2 more breaths in whatever posture you're in. Be grateful for where your body can take you. Release. Maybe again lifting the fingers off if you feel like it. And coming down. Peaceful warrior or reverse warrior with the front legs extended. And then again you turn the front foot, go into the wide stance with a forward fold. I'll invite you into a headstand from this posture, and it might be a long stretch. If you feel like going to a wall, just pause and move to a wall and do your headstand if you feel want to do that in a secure way. If you want to be playful, I'm going to do tripod headstand. So top of the head, hands down, a triangled position. You can stay put, just going to turn here. So like this, all right? So you can come up on your tippy toes and let that be it. Or slowly lift your legs up, see if you can find a balance. And then you're always welcome to play with things here. If you feel so safe. If you feel like you haven't done a headstand enough, just pause again and come into it. If you're ready to come down, maybe move down into that wide stance, coming up. Shake your arms. It's a hard posture for the arms. Downward facing dog. And then move onto your belly. Coming down. Forehead stack. Not forehead stack. Arms, fingers stacked, forehead on those fingers. Relax. And then listen to what Paul is writing. Paul is an author of a lot of the books or the letters in the New Testament. He has been imprisoned several of times in his life. And what he writes here is, I'd say to you, do your best by filling your minds and meditating on things true, noble, retributional, authentic, compelling, gracious. The best, not the worst. The beautiful, not the ugly. Things to be praised, not things to be cursed. A little bit further up, he said, instead of worry, pray. And let worries be shaped into prayers of praise. Can you let your unhappiness be shaped into a prayer? And maybe even into happiness or thankfulness. You might be saying, no, I can't. And that's fine. In my life, I see my faith kind of as an anchor. My situation might be challenging me, it might be hard, I might be struggling. But I feel like I'm through this anchor in through a kind of a veil into God's kingdom, into God's love. And then I can hold on. The anchor is still there to my happiness, to my joy, to my purpose in life, even though what I see now might be just darkness or pain. I hold on. God is holding on. So I have this anchor. Tuck your toes under. Come up and take a seat on the mat. Again, you might be sitting in the other direction than me. Gonna do the one boat pose where we lean back. So lean back, take the shoulders back. You might stay with your feet or the heels on the floor. You might take the heels off, whatever you feel like is great. And if you want it a little bit more advanced, try to stretch your leg a little bit more, bring the arms out to the side, and it's okay to kind of go back if you get out of balance and then take a seat again. It's actually just really great ab work here. One more breath. And then roll down on your back, feet on the floor. Gonna do a spinal twist, but with a thigh stretch. So maybe again you take a look, it's a little bit hard with left and right and all that. If you take your left leg up towards the sky, you cross that over. So you come up onto your right side. So left leg up, crossing over. I bent this knee, this hand holding on if you happen to be able to reach. This is the tricky part. The lower leg there, bend it. And then this arm might be able to reach the toes. So it'll be kind of resting like this. Such a great stretch. The bottom leg there is resting on the floor, not lifted. If you can't reach the bottom leg, don't worry. Just let it go. Stay in your spinal twist and breathe. being more happy is in my life a discipline. I am not waiting until the feeling of happiness emerges, because it rarely does if I'm in a bad mood or having a pity party. I'm choosing to hold on to the anchor I mentioned before, or I'm choosing to not focus on the unhappiness. Let go. Maybe you take a breath or two on the spine or on the back. Or get yourself opposite side. Your right leg crosses over. Maybe this arm holds on. Bend the back leg there and breathe. Relax. So as we're stretching and relaxing here, breathing, maybe you feel some sort of joy, happiness, and reminding yourself of God's amazing love for you. I do believe that God wants to hug us and smile to us, cheer us on so much more than we know. God is much more close, much more, I believe, interested in all the small details of our lives than we think. He's not the distant father figure away looking on his children with condemnation or stuff like that. No. If there's anything that goes through the Bible, it is that God is a passionate, loving God. Release. Almost ready for a resting posture. If you feel like doing plow pose, forward folds, you can do that. Take a look before you do it. If you don't want to do it, just hug your knees. If you feel like going to this shape, don't move your neck. If this is not really what you want to do, just stay here and hug your knees in and enjoy. If you feel like you're getting cold when we're resting, about to rest, you might want to bring a blanket or just a shirt or whatever you have on top of you. If you're ready to rest, come down, let your legs drop out, the toes heavy, arms down on the floor. And relax. You have been doing great. All these odd postures we put our body into. So as you are resting here, you are welcome to make a picture, God or Jesus or the Holy Spirit, what connects best to you. And see the smiling face. Maybe picture Jesus hugging you. Like you're kind of melting into Jesus' arms. He'll pat you on the back to calm you. You might hear him say, "I am here. I'm here, my child. Whatever you're going through, I'm here." And maybe you hear him say that tears can be like diamonds, valuable. So maybe if you feel like crying, if you feel like letting the tears just run for a while, you can do that in these loving arms. And maybe you feel like not just having a hug, but actually being carried. Safe and secure. Knowing that God, Jesus, knows it all. And he's not just saying, it's going to be fine, it's going to be okay. Not that easy answer. But he's promising us to be with us, be with you. He's promising to bring healing, to bring comfort, sometimes through tears, sometimes through forgiveness of others or yourself. If you feel ready to finish the resting, maybe just stay with that image, if it helps you, of God carrying you or hugging you. If you want to stay down on the mat, you're welcome to do so. I will finish the video, but if you want to take a seat, you can move your fingers and wrists and all of that. But please stay down if you feel like it. God's peace to you.